Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we've got some breaking information out of the Vatican. First of all, two stories. First, I want to thank Stephen of Oklahoma for this report. President Barack Obama is going to visit Pope Francis, according to John F. Kerry, the Secretary of State of the United States of America. CNN is reporting that U.S. President Barack Obama will visit Pope Francis, and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said after his own stop at the Vatican on Tuesday. Though it wasn't immediately clear when the meeting between the president and the pontiff will happen. I know that the Holy Father is anticipating the visit of President Obama here in Rome, of course, is what he means. And the president is looking forward to coming here to meet with him. Kerry said in Rome after meeting with Vatican Secretary of State Pedro Parolin. Now, Kerry and his counterpart discussed a range of issues, including the Middle East peace process and Africa. Say it again with me. The Middle East peace process and Africa. Now, time out. We all know that Pope Francis has already committed to making a trip to the Holy Lands. May 24th, 25th, 26th. He's going to be, during those 3 days, he's going to visit 3 locations. Jerusalem, and meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Sharon Peres. He's also going to go to Ramallah, to Bethlehem, and meet with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. And he's also going to go to Amman, Jordan, where he will meet King Abdullah II. Now, the May timeline is significant because John Kerry's 9-month process of bringing forth a peace agreement will be winding up sometime in late April. So it's very possible that the Pope plans on being in Jerusalem for the signing of the covenant with many, Daniel 9:27. Is that possible? Are you serious? And why is it so important? But you notice John Kerry's went back and forth to Rome now 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months. So certainly the Vatican plays a role in the covenant with many. And my brand new book that just came out, Jerusalem Jihad, it deals with the end time apocalyptic scenario. It's a sequel to my book I wrote called RFID, Mark of the Beast. But it's from a perspective from the streets of Jerusalem. It's also about the radical Islamic attacks on the city of Jerusalem and the prophetic things that are getting ready to come about according to the Word of God. So it's written with a ton of history, current events, recent events, Bible prophecy, and an end-time apocalyptic scenario where the Pope is certainly involved in the book as well as others. So you don't want to miss what the Lord is showing us here in these current world events. Now, besides Obama going, President Obama going to Rome isn't to sign the covenant. It won't be signed in Rome. It's certainly going to be signed in Jerusalem. I would almost guarantee it. But there's still some things going on. Is Obama planning on going to Rome after the signing of the covenant? The reason Rome plays a part, the reason the Vatican plays a part in the covenant with many, and has to, in the two-state solution of Israel and Palestine, is so many of the holy sites there are managed by the Vatican. So who's in charge of which site? Is it the new state of Palestine? Is it Israel? The Vatican needs to know because they're going to have to interact with both of them. Plus, Jordan is in charge. Get this, the country of Jordan's in charge of the Temple Mount. So why would the Pope be going to the Holy Land to meet with who? The president, the prime minister and president of Israel, the president of the Palestinians, and the king of Jordan. Why? Because the Hashmonite kingdom, or the Jordanian kingdom, is in charge of managing the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. You've got the temple, you've got the mosque there, the Dome of the Rock, and the mosque there for the Muslims. If there's a new temple built based on this covenant or peace agreement, then that will be the temple for the Jews rebuilt of Solomon's original temple, but it'd be a modified size. It won't be as large, and it won't have an outer court. That's going to be left open for the Gentiles, which the Bible said right there. It says it in Revelation 11. So, okay. So, who's it for? For the Christians, for the Gentiles, for the Vatican. For the Christians, not just the Vatican, but all Christians, Catholic and Protestant. So, if you know these things are coming to pass, it would behoove you to understand that, yes, Rome plays a part, and so does Jordan. So does Jordan, because they're managing the Temple Mount right now. And that's got to be a part of this entire, because they need a neutral party to actually manage between Israel and the Palestinians, so they let Jordan do it. And of course, the Vatican has to play a part because they manage the holy sites. Not all of them, but many of the holy sites. Now, so this Obama, President Obama meeting the Pope, a lot of conspiracy theorists will be jumping all over that, and a lot of Bible prophecy guys will be analyzing that, and all I can say is there's something biblical going on here with the signs of the second coming of Christ. I got one question, just a question. I'm not trying to make anything out of it, but we know that President Obama bowed to the Saudi prince, and he received a golden necklace, and he bowed to other world leaders. Will he kiss the ring of the Pope? I'm not saying he should or shouldn't. I'm just asking the question. Because he said the reason he bowed to the Muslim Saudi prince was because of the culture, their culture, and their respect. So just a question. We'll check. We'll watch and see how that plays out. Now, having said that, the Pope, I know 4 cardinals that aren't going to kiss his ring no more. We got breaking news coming out of Europe. Pope Francis has just fired 4 cardinals. He just sacked them. He just sacked 4 cardinals in the Vatican bank cleanup. Pope Francis has sacked nearly all the cardinals from the commission charged with overseeing the scandal-hit Vatican bank. Just 11 months into their 5-year term, former Secretary of State Cardinal Bernatone was among the 4 cardinals. There are a lot of people thought Cardinal Bernatone was going to be the next pope. They thought he was Peter the Roman. So a lot of people were saying that. Anyway, he's one of the 4 cardinals axed at the 5-person committee inherited from Benedict XVI, who last February became the first pope in almost 600 years to resign and to amid the controversy in the church. So the move is widely seen. And you know, in my book, Mark of the Beast, I wrote that Pope Benedict XVI would resign. And he did, even though a pope hadn't done that in 600 years. And Tom Horn also in his book wrote that Pope Benedict would resign and not die. So, God's revealing things to people, and many of us are going to receive revelation knowledge here, revelation knowledge here. God don't reveal everything to just one person, but he does work it around, and we're seeing it happen. So the move is widely seen as an attempt to clean up the shame of the bank, which is still under investigation by Italian authorities for money laundering. So this is an important turn in political economy of the Vatican. It is following the new political line of Pope Francis towards transparency for the Vatican finances, according to the professors and economists of the University of Rome, also reported on CNBC in a phone interview. So the Toronto Cardinal Christopher Collins and Vienna's Cardinal Christoph Skolben are among the new appointees. So Canada, you're going to get a cardinal on the finance committee there at the Vatican, to commission that have been, of course, extensive experience in financial affairs. So, all right, here's what's going on. A lot of news, breaking news coming out of the Vatican. President Barack Obama is going to visit the Pope in Rome. The Pope is going to Israel, to the Holy Lands, in May. And we don't know when Obama's going to Rome, so we don't know if that's before or after Pope goes to the Holy Lands. And the Pope has just fired 4 cardinals, axed them off the banking committee of the Vatican. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. There's something biblical going on. Can I read you one more thing, though? The Temple Mount. I just feel like God's telling me I should do this. I haven't got it marked, but let's go there. Go to Revelation chapter 11 real quickly, and let's just read about 3 or 4 verses about the Temple Mount and how you can see it's coming together so clearly. Here's what God told John the Revelator in Revelation chapter 11. He said, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot for 42 months, or 3.5 years. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth." All right? Now these are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before God of the earth. "And if any man would hurt them, fire will proceed out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in the same manner be killed. They will also, these have power to shut the heaven, and it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will." Folks, the temple is going to be built. It's not going to have an outer court. That's left open for the Gentiles. The plans that Benjamin Netanyahu has right now, I've seen the blueprints of the next temple. It's a modified version of King Solomon's temple with no outer court. It leaves the outer courtyard between the mosque, the Dome of the Rock, and the new temple. It leaves room for everyone to walk in between. The Christians can come there, and so that leaves that open. Also, so that would exactly what it says here. But it also says the 2 witnesses are going to show up with great powerful message and signs of turning the water into blood and bringing drought upon the land and pestilence and diseases and plagues of the earth. So we've already seen the water turn to blood. There's been 11 different incidences in the last 2 years where water has turned blood red in major waterways. The Beirut River ran blood red for 3 days. 3 days and nights. Texas, a lake turned blood red. It rained blood red rain in India and Sri Lanka. The water turned blood red, the river Yangtze in the middle of China for 3 days. It turned the water in fountains, in resorts in France turned blood red. The Sea of Azov on the coast of Russia and Ukraine turned blood red. The beaches along the coast of Australia turned blood red. I mean, I could go on and on and on. It's amazing. We're seeing these things coming to pass. The 2 witnesses aren't here, but you're beginning to see the signs of their prophecy. And you're beginning to hear them talk about the Temple Mount. I mean, this thing is coming, and they're right now negotiating the peace covenant, which is Daniel 9:27. In other words, something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. Are you saved? Don't miss today's show. We're going to talk about this. We're going to go right into Revelation here. We're going to talk about the Vatican, President Obama, Revelation, the Muslims, the Jews, the Palestine, Israel, the peace agreement. We're going to cover it today. Don't miss it. From 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern at our website, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. And also on live stream. We're also on new live stream channel. Also Blog Talk Radio. Or you can listen on your cell phone. Just simply dial the number 347-324-5208. And you can listen to all 3 hours live on your cell phone. God bless. I'll see you guys this afternoon.